What is going on YouTube? How are you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. This time around it's a little bit different from what we normally do because I'm sat here in front of you face to face, if you like. You know, I've got my microphone, I've got the webcam, as you can probably tell, and we're basically just going to sit down for a few minutes, and by a few minutes probably at least 10, and talk about Jurassic World Evolution. I'm probably going to have some gameplay playing in the background here, just while we're talking about it, because I wanted to give you guys my honest opinion of the game. I have now invested, at the time of recording this, probably at least over 20 hours into the game, both on stream and off stream. I've played it a crap ton, and I basically just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a review about how I feel about the game. Let me just preface this by, I'm a huge fan of the game, I think it's great. However, I want to try and present you guys an unbiased opinion here in this video. We'll probably end off with my opinion personally, but I do want to try and present it from both sides of the spectrum, both giving you the positives of the game and the negatives of the game, and things that I could think, or that I have thought of as I've been playing, as I've thought of by just sitting down and thinking, this could probably be better in this game over the last week or so since launch. So, without further ado, let's jump into the positives of this game. Positives of this game: the dinosaurs look amazing. Okay, first off, straight in there, there's no point beating around the bush. Frontier did a fantastic job on the textures of the dinosaurs. Notice I said textures there, very important, we'll come back to that later. The textures of the dinosaurs look amazing. The skins of them are also fantastic. There's a couple of skins in there that I just think, oh my god, I need those in every single game that I play with this dinosaur because they just look so damn good. Okay, so props to Frontier on the textures of the dinosaurs, they look amazing. Good job. Next up, just the sort of feel of the game, the way that the game goes across all of the 5 deaths, all of that sort of stuff, I think that's incredible. It gives a little bit more depth to the game, like you can go and play on Isla Muerta, Matanceros, Sauna, and all of these different maps are a little bit easier, but then if you want a different challenge, you can jump on Penna and just have the... basically you're jumping into the fiery pits of hell when you jump onto Penna, and I don't know why you would want to, but there's that option, right? There's the option of Penna to make things a little bit more challenging, but then you also have these other maps over here that are a little bit easier. You've got more space, you've got more room, and which is the same as space. I just repeat myself, but whatever. So you've got that nice contrast, which I definitely think is good. It definitely lacked in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, which came out in 2003, because that game was very much sort of linear. Even though you could create your own island, that was the only sort of replayability you had there. Like the gameplay was pretty much the same. The size of the island was very much down to you. You never really, like, if you wanted a massive island, you could get a massive island every single time you jumped into the game. If you wanted a small island, you could get a small island, you know. Whereas this, it's a lot more structured, and I think that's a very, very good thing. Props to that. The what is it? Division system. So we've got science, entertainment, and security. I think that's awesome. Adding the missions and the contracts to the game, giving you a reason to do specific things, hatch specific dinosaurs, keep an eye on specific things, I think that is perfect, right? That adds more replayability, so you're not just sat around watching dinosaurs, you're not just sat around doing nothing, you know? And then that also ties into the whole research system and the upgrades. Obviously in Operation Genesis, I'm going to be comparing it to Operation Genesis quite a bit, by the way. In Operation Genesis, you had the research tree, but it was very much structured and linear. Like, you would just go from point to point, research whatever you want, whenever you wanted. Whereas in Evolution, you progress through the divisions. You've obviously got some unlocks there that you can unlock straight away, but the some unlocks and some research is like put behind certain division rewards, and I think that's good because it makes you go back and complete like the missions, you know, because every single time you play, let's pick Muerta for example, you're not going to complete all of the science stuff because you might be focusing on entertainment, and that's the same with security, science, and entertainment. Obviously you can balance that by doing the same thing through the same playthrough before you move on, if that makes sense. But there's that replayability aspect there. You have to go back to the island to complete X amount of missions. I think in my save file at the moment, I've still got missions to complete on Muerta, on Sauna, you know, and I'm going to be going back and finishing those. You know, it's awesome. I like that. Extra replayability. Next up, I think I've got to include Nublar in there. Simply because sandbox mode, I think that's awesome. Obviously we had that in Operation Genesis, but I just like the fact that they have given us this possibility of being like, hey, here's a space, make your dream park in there. You've got no restrictions whatsoever. You can set the time of day, etc, etc. And I think that's awesome. You know, we're not confined to always waiting for money to come in, because you can just jump into Nublar and being like, hey, let's go. And then the fact that all of your unlocks progress onto that as well, which is awesome, because that makes you go back and play those 4 islands before Nublar to get those unlocks and make your park better on Nublar. And then also the fact that you only need to 4-star Matanceros, the first island, before you can unlock it. Super awesome, super good stuff. I really love that. Okay, really good stuff. Do I have any more positives? Probably. I think the fact that the involvement from Jeff Goldblum, Bryce Dallas Howard, BD Wong, all of those guys, getting those guys in there adds more authenticity. The fact that they've got Universal's assets as well from the films, extra A star on that. I think that's amazing. However, we're all familiar with the negatives of the game. Okay, whether you're a super fan, which I do class myself as, because I love the game. I've streamed it non-stop since release, and I love it. Okay. However, there are problems to the game, and I'm not blind to them. Okay, so let me just preface this right now. I do not hate the game. I'm just trying to give you guys an unbiased opinion about what I think Frontier can do to improve it. And that's how I'm going to structure the negatives. Okay, I'm going to say a negative, but then I'm going to be like, hey, Frontier, you can do this to fix it. Okay, because I want to give feedback. I want to develop the game, because I don't think there's any point in throwing the game under the bus because of these problems. Okay, so number 1, the space. The space is a huge problem, especially on Nublar, okay? Nublar is a sandbox map. Sure, we've got a big area, but, bro, I want, like, a massive area, man. Like, I want bigger than what Nublar offers, okay? It super sucks that it's kind of confined to that small space, but I don't know. There's definitely a community outcry, and this is probably number 1 on my list of negatives. The space is a problem, okay? However, changing that, the fact that we do have 5 islands that all offer something different, I think it does kind of counteract that, okay? Because you can be like, oh yeah, I can play on Nublar, but hey, I might want to go play on Matanceros or Muerta and have a different experience, you know? So there's a kind of bit of a trade-off there. Do I think Frontier can probably fix it? Yeah, possibly. Like, the only way that I can see them fixing it is if they patch in island expansion, so make the islands bigger. Will I think they do that? Will I think that they will do that? I don't know. I think that's the only way that they can do it, patching in to make the islands bigger. I don't think they'll add another island, because then it would be the 6th deaths, and that's not what the law is. There's always 5. So are we going to see another island? I doubt it. We're going to get into that a little bit later on, because I do have an idea on what they can do for DLC with that. Okay, but moving on to more negatives, okay? Now, the dinosaurs, obviously I mentioned that the textures were awesome. They look super cool. And like the Spinosaurus skin, oh my goodness, it's so good. But the AI in the game is a bit of a problem for me. Okay, it is a bit of a problem. I haven't brought it up in my videos because I've been focusing on the positive. But now I've had a chance to play the game for X amount of hours. I've played it for a long time. Looking back at it, I would say a game that came out in 2003 has better AI than this one that came out in 2018. And don't forget, that's not me hating on the game. That is just me saying that from an AI standpoint, which is the way that the dinosaur behaves, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis does it better. Okay, Operation Genesis had way more behaviors that the dinosaurs could do. So looking at Evolution's dinosaurs, they look super cool. However, there are periods of times where I've looked into an enclosure and the dinosaurs have just stood still. They're not even grazing or anything. They're just stood still doing nothing. Okay, or a Ceratosaurus has just stood in his enclosure. We had this yesterday in Muerta. He was just stood in his enclosure looking at the viewing vent. Like, that doesn't make any sense. A dinosaur would not just be stood there. You know, it would be like sniffing around. It would be falling asleep. Like, that's a big thing. Make the dinosaurs fall asleep. They're living things. They fall asleep. You know, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. The fact that What else? I was just thinking of something. Like herding. Herding is kind of there, but it's not really. Like getting the raptors to attack a large target all together instead of just one-on-one. You know, raptors are pack hunters. I want to see the raptors get round a hadrosaur, one coming up behind it, and then the other two coming around the side, and all three of them jump on it. You know, there must be a way that they can do that. So, do I think a Frontier can fix this? Yes. All it needs is an AI redesign. Obviously that may be a lot of work, and I do appreciate that Frontier have done a good job. No, have done a good job at this game, and I think it is a phenomenal game. Let me just preface this again. I'm going to keep saying it. It's a phenomenal game. However, the AI problem is just a big problem, man. It's just a big problem, and it needs to be patched in to change it. I'm sorry, it just really does. You know? Moving on. DLC. The game is good, right? It has that replayability in there. I just think it kind of feels a little bit small as a game. And what I mean by that is, once you get through all 5 islands, you've got the sandbox mode, but then it's just kind of like, you know, and you can just play with the same dinosaurs that you've been playing with across the other 4 islands. Big whoop, you know, big whoop, happy days. So for DLC, I want them to add more dinosaurs, you know, just have a dinosaur pack every 3 months or something like that, or go bigger and get like aquatic DLC in, or flying dinosaur DLC. We need some DLC to expand the game. Frontier, however, are very good at expanding their games. Their expansion packs for games are phenomenal. Planet Coaster has been looked after for the last, I think, 3 years or whatever, 3-4 years. I don't know how long Planet Coaster has been around, but Frontier have supported the crap out of that, and I'm looking forward for them to do that for Evolution. Okay, so yeah, I don't know, man. Like there are obviously more negatives and more positives to the game, but those are the ones that I focus on the most, and I think Frontier just kind of need to address a couple of things. We've obviously got the Fallen Kingdom DLC coming out, which will add more dinosaurs in, taking the total up to 48 if you've got the deluxe edition content. So that's going to add more content. It's going to keep the game fresh. We've got more dinosaurs coming in. We're going to need that sort of stuff, you know? It's going to need that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to see the future of Jurassic World Evolution. Frontier will look after the game, I assure you. I'm excited to see the future of the game. Hope you guys are as well. Hopefully you guys understand that I do enjoy the game. I just wanted to give you guys a kind of unbiased opinion on my opinion of the game after playing it for a week. It's a super awesome game. I look forward to it. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think Frontier need to improve on the game to make it look better, feel better, or have more replayability, because I definitely think there's a lot more options there that I haven't touched on in this video. Let me know, and I'll see you guys in another stream/video very soon. Adios, guys.